like this kind of song makes you belong to something greater, something that makes you want to sing. And it gets you in a dancing flow, and moving gets so easy, feeling easy to me, and it makes you kicking out what's slow.
Hey everybody, so here in just a few seconds, I'm going to take you out to my local state park and I'm going to share with you the techniques that I use to film myself while I'm running using the Insta360 Go2 action camera. But before I do that, I thought this was a great opportunity to let you know that if you're thinking about picking one up for yourself, now's the perfect time to do it because they're running their summer sale. It goes from May 24th through June 4th, and that's 2022. You'll save 15% on their Go2 action camera. And if you use the affiliate link below to take you to their website, not only does the channel earn a small commission on that, but you'll get some free accessories. So now let's go out to the local state park and I'll share with you some of the techniques that I use to film myself while I run using the Insta360 Go2 action camera. Hi everybody and welcome to Run Tall with Tim. I'm Tim. Thanks for being here. I always appreciate the time that you and I get to spend together, so thanks for tuning in. And I hope wherever you are that you're happy, healthy, and staying safe. On today's video, I'm going to go over a how-to, and that's the how to film yourself while you run. This is a question I get asked all the time. I probably say at least once a week. Someone's asking me, how do I film myself when I'm out running? Well, today I'm going to answer all those questions for you, so be sure to stick around. So I have a lot of cameras that I can choose from, but one of my favorites is by Insta360. It's their Go2 action camera. It comes in this nice little case that they have here. This is a charge case. It also can be used as a remote, and you can use it as a stand as well. The reason that I like using this so much is primarily because of its size and its weight. It's really, you know, it doesn't weigh hardly anything, so it's really easy to carry around. I pop it out of the case typically when I'm out filming with it, and I simply use the selfie stick along with the adapter that they have here. It's magnetic, so it just pops in there. So this is the rig that I use when you see that run footage, capture from behind or the sides or what have you. This is typically what I'm using to capture that footage. So what you're going to need is that Insta360 Go2. And I will say, just by way of disclosure, Insta360 sent me the Go2 action camera for the purpose of review as a gift. That's about 6 months ago, something like that, when I had initially done a review. But they aren't paying me to make the video. They didn't tell me what to say, and they didn't preview my thoughts before I shared them with you here first on YouTube. And today is just somewhat of a follow-up video because I get asked, like I said, this question all the time, and I just wanted to share it with you in case some of you want to film yourself when you're out running. Maybe you're going to do a 5K, 10K, you're going to go out on a marathon, and you want to capture some of that experience and take it and share it with your friends. Well, this is how I do it, and I hope that you find it helpful. So of course you're going to need the Insta360 Go2 action camera, but you're also going to need a selfie stick. Now this is really important because if you don't have the right length selfie stick, you're not going to be able to capture some of that footage that I get to share with you. Now this one is 46 inches long. So yep, it unfolds to 46 inches, so you can see it's really long. And with the action camera on the end of it, it really gets out to about 48 inches. Now this is really critical in order to be able to get some of the shots that you see, because if your selfie stick is too short, you can't really capture that run footage that you get to witness from behind, the sides, and the front. It just doesn't look nearly as, I think, as impressive as it does when you have a longer selfie stick, so you can get a better angle. So I'm going to show you all of the different angles that I use, but also not just the shoes, but to showcase me as a runner so that you guys, it makes it a little bit more interesting, I think, to look at. And usually, and this is a good point too, that most of my shots are only maybe 30 seconds to a minute and a half long. It's rare that I'd film myself continuously for more than a minute and a half. 30 seconds to a minute is usually pretty typical, because really when I condense all that down and put it into run footage, each sequence that I show really only lasts maybe 3 to 6 seconds, somewhere along those lines, because I just think that gives it a lot more of an interesting appeal to switch from one view to the next. So here's the first view that I often like to do, and it's kind of that look from behind, or that follow me mode. So I'll extend the stick all the way out to that 46 to 48 inches with the camera. I'm going to have a slight curve on the camera this way, and when I'm running, I'll take and I'll grab a hold of the handle like so, and I'll turn it and I'll just bring it up from behind. And now I try to get it right about level, maybe just a little bit taller than I am when I'm running. And that's how I get that run from behind footage that oftentimes you guys think is coming from a drone, or I get that comment a lot. Am I using a drone that's following me through the woods, or how am I doing that? Or is that another person? But it's just me and Insta360 Go2 and a long selfie stick to get that view. Now, I'd also like to get 360 degrees on this shot, and I'll do this several different times so that I can kind of cut it together to give it a really interesting look during the run sequence. But I'll sweep it around to the side, and then I'll bring it all the way around to the front, and then I'll bring it all the way around to the other side. So I get that almost a 360 degree view of myself when I'm out running. So that's the first, I guess, section that I like to do, is I like to start with the top, and then I sweep it around. Now I also like to get, because of shoe reviews that I often use this run footage for, sometimes I'm using it when I'm maybe running a 5K or something along those lines. But typically I'm doing shoe reviews like I'm out here doing today. So I'll do kind of that same technique. And for this, I'm going to kind of tilt this camera down a little bit so that we can kind of see a little better. All right, so I think that works pretty good. So again, I've got it extended out full length. But instead of coming around behind me this way, I'm coming around behind me this way. So I got the camera tilted down toward the ground, and I'm going to start it, and I like to hang on to it like so. And I'll start it from behind me so that you can see my ankles, you can see the shoes as they hit the ground and roll through. That gives people a good indication of the stability of the shoe and how much pronation there is. That's why I'd like to do that shot. But I also like to, much like we did or saw earlier when I did the follow around or follow me type of a sequence, is I also like to sweep the camera around to the side so that you can get a good view from the side, watching the shoes as they strike the ground, as I roll through my gait cycle, and then around to the front so you can get a good view of the front of the shoes as well. But again, it's that 46 inches, 48 inches with the camera that allows you to get a really nice shot of the shoes while you're running, or get a shot of yourself while you're running. And this works great, I think, to really kind of showcase everything that the shoes can do and what they're doing as they hit the ground and you continue on through your gait. Now, from here, there's a couple other interesting shots that I like to do. So I'm going to tilt this back up here just a little bit, because it does get a little bit boring if that's all you're going to see is just that. So it's nice to have some cut views. So there's a few other things that I like to do. There's a sweeping motion that you can do going over your head. So again, basically the same angle, pretty much always the same angle. And I'm just going to go overhead, and I'm going to bring it around, sweep it around through to the front of me. And now that gives a nice visual look, something a little bit different, because you can almost reveal not just yourself, what you're running from or what's behind you. So that works great. And you might have noticed that a lot when I'm near a lake, because I'll actually run down by the lake. I'll turn and run away from them, and I'll either be doing that front view of my shoes, or I'll do a sweeping view like that so you can capture that and just see how pretty it is and what's going on behind me. So that's another view that you can use to give your shots a little bit of interest. And then I also like to do that kind of that same thing, but I might start with it down in front, like so, and I'll start recording, and then I'll just bring it up slowly. And then I will sometimes start down low, and I'll bring it up slowly and come this way around. So you can get kind of that sweeping motion coming around to the side. That too, I think, looks a little bit interesting. It just gives a different perspective for people to be able to see what it is that you see all around you. And then there's a couple of other things that I like to do too. So these are a couple of shots that I like to incorporate, is I will shorten the selfie stick up. And this is especially good if you're going to be doing some vlogging. And the micro is pretty decent for vlogging. It's not perfect, especially if there's wind noise, but it does a pretty decent job. I'll shorten the stick up, I'll have that tilt like so, and I'll run with it like this. If someone were looking at you or coming at you, that kind of a view. And that gives it a little bit of interest, so you can see how hard you're working when you're out running, and just gives it a little bit different look. Now, when I was running in a 5K recently, I wanted to capture, kind of me crossing that finish line. So what I did is, you just turn this around like so. Oop, there we go. And I got it pointed in front of me. And again, I kind of shorten it up a little bit. I don't like to have it too short.
because then it feels, I don't know, I just feel like I get a better, steadier shot with it. You know, I guess this is probably about 18 inches long, something like that. And I have it kind of pointing in front of me. And then it's a point of view perspective here. Now you can use, and I happen to have on the magnet that you can just stick it to, but unless you got a really tight shirt, it gets a little bit bouncy. And even though they have great stabilization feature that's built into the software so that you can take some of that jitter out of it, it's not nearly as smooth as what you're going to get if you just use this little selfie stick deal here. And you know, hold it the best that you can, and you'll be amazed at just what they can do to stabilize that footage to make it look nice and smooth when you're out running. So those are the basic views that I use when I'm out capturing some run footage. So I'm going to take this out on a run and use those same techniques that I just talked about, and then kind of show you how it all kind of comes together. Now, Insta360, as I mentioned, did send this to me for the purpose of review a while back, but I'm under no obligation to keep using it, but it is one of those cameras that I do like to pick up quite often because it's just so lightweight and easy to carry that, you know, especially if I'm going out on a long run, and, you know, if you're carrying something, anything for that matter, with you on, you know, if you're going out for an hour, 2 hours, sometimes 3 hours, you know, if you're carrying something like, I'm going to use GoPro as an example. I love GoPros. I have nothing against them. I still use them. I have cameras for a lot of different purposes, but my shoulder gets pretty sore and tired. So if you're going out on a longer run effort, or if you want to capture some run footage of yourself, maybe doing, you know, like I said, a half marathon, a marathon, something along those lines, this is something that you can take with you and just kind of tuck away when you're done using it, and then pull it back out when you want to capture some of the other race footage. And the other 4 hours, you don't have to hang on to it, because this is small enough you can just tuck away. So.
Now that I have all the run footage that I want, there's a couple different ways that I edit that footage. When I'm working on my shoe reviews, I'll use the software that's free from Insta360 that I loaded onto my iMac. If I'm posting to Instagram, Facebook, or maybe TikTok, I'll use the app that's loaded on my smartphone or on my tablet, and I have got a couple different options there. I can either do it manually, or I can have their AI editor do it for me. That's what I like to do. All you have to do is to select the clips that you want to include, and it pulls it all together for you. It does all the work. And it only takes about 5 minutes for it to do it. So if you like to post to Instagram or Facebook or TikTok, I highly recommend using the AI editor in app. All right, so let's take a look and see what this footage all looks like when I pull it together. So we'll check that out, and then once we've got a chance to review that, we'll come back together and we'll wrap it up.
When we're moving to the beat, this kind of song makes you belong to something greater, something that makes you want to sing. And it gets you in a dancing flow, and moving gets so easy, feeling easy to me. And it makes you kicking out what's slow, and living gets so easy, easy. And again and again and again and again and again and again, I want this flow.
All right, so I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you use any of these techniques, be sure to let me know in the comment section below how it goes for you. And if you purchase your own Insta360 Go2 action camera, I'd love to hear what your thoughts are. Again, use the comment section below to keep the conversation going. As always, run tall, run strong, be kind to one another. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time right here on Run Tall with Tim.